Welcome to the Building Families and Communities Show, special series on parental involvement. Part 3 continues, building the bridge between social orientation in the home and academic instruction in schools. In the last episode, members of the Tennessee Association School Social Workers received information about Building Families and Communities Institute's curriculum model for focused parental involvement training. Discussions included background information, the parental involvement training paradigm, the conceptual framework of the curriculum, what focused intervention included, the results of deliberate outcomes, and the premise of the curricular design. This episode continues with further elaboration of the curricular scope, its content, and links to best practices.
Here's the truth of the matter. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. We're all just scrapping in the dark, trying to figure out how to... Is that right? I ain't going to preach, but I felt something right there.
I know. I was just saying, this is Miss Sandra Clark. She was my director. And I remember, she's the one who hired me.
Okay,
and
wow.
I remember something she said to me a long time ago. She said, I've never met a parent that didn't want the best for their child. Every parent wants the best thing for their child, and just they don't know how to get there sometimes. So.
Precisely. And that is the assumption we must make, first and foremost. Thank you. Ms. Clark, can I steal that? All right. So what this does, though, this curriculum is designed to empower those parents with the knowledge and the skills to at least be able to understand how, or first that they exist, and how to meet certain expectations for your child in the school setting in particular. Okay? Ensure civic success for children by training their parents. Can I say that again? We have a tendency in the social service industry to put a good deal of focus on children. But just as you said, every parent wants the best for their child. And guess what else? Guess what else? Those children are going to go as far as any adult or responsible person in their life will allow them to. If you set the standard up here, that's what they're going to strive to meet. And you provide incentives for them, that's what they're going to strive to meet. If you set it down there, that's what you're going to get. You put a little in, you'll get a little out. You put a lot in, get ready to get your wheelbarrow. You're going to get a whole lot to take home with you, right? That's what we have to focus on, is the fact that parents are the front line of defense for their children. How many of y'all ever took a child home with you and let them live with you? Uh-oh.
I took one home with me for a weekend or two.
Did you send them back home?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you had your own family dynamics, right?
Well, she was, her mother had abandoned her, you know, when she was like 15 months old. And so I was trying to be her mother, I think, to show her what it was all about. But she started stealing from my daughter. And, you know, I tried to explain to my daughter, you know, that she was poor and didn't have those things. And she wanted, you know, those things. And that I could get her more, you know. And so, but I mean, she kind of just followed along with the program. She minded, you know, get good. But
Only problem in that whole situation, your heart was good. It's
yes.
in the right place. You know what the problem
Right.
was? Your daughter didn't ask for that.
Right, because she did not.
And your daughter didn't ask to be your daughter, did she?
No.
And you had an obligation to your daughter
Right.
to provide the best security in life for her, even if it meant not to allow some outside influence to what threatened her safety and her.
Right.
Follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, so the mother abandoned her. And can I say something? We're not going to just jump on these mamas now. We're going to go get these daddies too. Y'all not going to walk with me. I didn't come to preach. Just give me a high five on it. Look, we're going to get these daddies too, because look. Now. Don't tell me Jesus is my baby daddy. I don't believe that. If he is, we need to go get Jesus and get some child support. Right? I can talk about Jesus, you know, I'm a preacher. I get away with that. But the truth of the matter is that there's a whole cultural, family dynamic here that needs to be addressed, right? And I mean well for children as well. But I knew when I was growing up, I just needed some negative reinforcement. I'm not out here, McClung. I'm going to tell the truth on myself now. But, and while positive reinforcement was good every now and then, I really resonated with the negative reinforcement because I didn't like the loss. And you understand what I'm saying? And the best person to do that is the parent or somebody close to that home, right? So that's why we have to build and forge those relationships on that basis. Is it going to be perfect all the time? No. Are we going to lose some people? Unfortunately, yes. But the effort is what we're talking about. Okay, that's what we really focus on. Let's talk about the curricular content. In Module 1, training and exercising parental rights and responsibilities. You'll get parents who say, I got it right, I got it right, I got it right. But you have a responsibility also. You might not be aware of what your responsibility is or how to go about being responsible as a custodial parent, as a guardian, right? So this is what the training focuses itself on, balancing the two, all right? Then we look at training and providing academic support for children in the home environment. So, little Johnny, he has all of the books, and rulers, and staplers, and pens he needs in the classroom to do his homework, right? But when he goes home, his excuse for not completing his homework assignment is, I didn't have no ink pen. The dog chewed up all the paper. I couldn't find my eraser. I got a science project that's due, right? Or something of that nature. And I didn't have no glue and I didn't have a poster board, right? Well, who is the first person we need to talk to about that? Parent. Right? Organized, this provides training with parents on how to first understand what the curricular content is, what the learning expectations are, what the benchmarks are, and what teachers should be covering. Okay? And then, here's how you can support the instruction they get. The teacher teaches a new skill. They provide drill exercise in the classroom. Homework is intended for extended what? Drill. That's what the parent needs to understand. So you need to be talking to the teacher when you go up there about what sort of resources can I put at home that will help my child have what? More drill time and opportunities to practice what they're learning in the school. We extend on learning that way, right? If not in the home, in a community center or at the church, somewhere near my child's core social environment where they can get this support, right? Okay, that's what we're talking about there in Module 2. Module 3, we look at providing positive behavior support for children and youth. Boy, get out from there. I'm gonna tear you all to pieces. How do you think a child feels when you say that? You're just a rascal. You're just as bad as a stagger-tooth tiger. How do you think a child feels when you say that? Probably not very good, right? You're frustrated. That's why you're speaking in that tone. You're embarrassed now. You know, that sort of thing, right? Well, the bottom line is, how many of y'all been a child before? That's everybody in here, right? And you had the same feeling, right? The world was huge. You were curious, and you wanted to understand the things you were running into, the people you were seeing, places you were getting to go, right? And as soon as your feet, you realize I can do more than crawl. Oh, I can walk. Oh, I'm running now. I'm gone. But the truth of the matter is, you don't know all that stands around the corner. That's why you need somebody who. What we have is a paradigm where we introduce 3 functions that consciously or unconsciously as a parent you engage in on a daily basis with your children. One is as a friend. I know some people question that. The other is as a parent, and the other is an adult. As a friend, you recognize that you were their age once before. that they're prone to make what? Mistakes in their judgment. Okay? So you back up and don't take it personal when they spill milk on you or tear up your house. I just bought that thing. I ain't mean no harm. It wasn't about you. You know, I love you. But I just made a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? So the friend in you says, okay, but next time I'm going to make sure they have a more controlled environment so they can't make that mistake again. They got these little plastic things you put in plugs because they know children are invariably going to go and try to stick something in there out of curiosity. All right? So then you say, well, as an adult, I'm someone who's been around, who's experienced these things, and I understand it. Right? I can be a friend in terms of putting myself in a child's shoes at the time. But guess what? Ultimately, I am the custodial parent. I'm responsible for seeing to their well-being. It's that parent that says, I know you want to jump off the building, but I can't let you do that. You think it's fun. You don't know when you hit that ground, it's going to catch you. And it won't be nice, right? But as a parent, I have to keep you safe. And I have to be the one to understand for you. Because as a youth, as a juvenile, all you're thinking about is instant gratification. But I have to think long term for you, right? So can you see the will and the balance there? That's one of the things we focus on in terms of positive behavior support. Module 4, training and understanding civic expectations for youth and society. We just talked about how you hit somebody and they hit you back, right? That's just one classical example of how many youth get in trouble. Well, I don't want to go to school today. So Miss Clark, she gonna get it. I'm gonna make sure she ain't gonna be able to do nothing for nobody up in there. And she gonna have to put me out that classroom. Huh? And I know Miss Clark, they may put me, send him off and come back, but if I bust a window in Miss Clark's class, she gonna have to put me out of school. I'm gonna have some time at home by myself. Can you see the maniacal mind of a child who's looking for freedom and a way out? Right? You got to think ahead of it. I used to work in a prison. They used to tell us that deadly force was authorized if an inmate did not stop. And they trained us to shoot twice a day and tell them, this is Tennessee Department of Correction. Shoot or stop or I shoot, right? Well, when I went to the juvenile detention facility, can't pull no gun out on no child. Look, you felt like it, but you couldn't do that. You understand what I'm saying? The only weapon you had was your mind. And I realized then, Ms. Clark, that I had to go back to my days in Chicago, ripping and running the streets and the projects in Chicago. Oh, man, I got to think ahead of these guys right here. The truth of the matter is, where they're trying to go, how many times have you been there? You're tired of going there, ain't you? You've been there so many times, right? And this is the approach that we have to train parents with, understanding how to